I can't talk. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Courtney and I'm the maker behind StitchesPlease. This channel is mainly about knitting and sometimes cross-stitching or other crafts that I want to do that week or weeks. I'm not sure where I'm going with this. This video is going to be different. I mainly gonna focus, it's like a special. I am journaling kind of my process of test knitting from the beginning to what I did this week. So I didn't have time to record the intro, so it's gonna be a little weird that I'm here for the intro and the outro, but bear with me. So what I'm test knitting is a unnamed pattern by Alicia Plummer, and she is okay with us sharing the project. She has shared a reel. Right now it's named the Noro pattern, but that's not the official name yet. And I am she used Noro, hence why it's called the Noro test, but Noro was a little bit out of my budget, so I went with a more budget-friendly yarn by Cascade 220 Air Wave, and it's 100% superwash. And I'm not sure what the color name is, but it is color number 110. So here it is, and it goes from light gray to like a charcoal to almost a black, if not even black. So I wanted something that kind of gave a Noro effect, but was more budget friendly, like I said. And I think this was a great option for me. So I have a few, and I got these on Wool & Co., Wool & Company's website, and I love ordering from them. I've never had any issues with them, and they're always really quick. They also offer free winding. I have a ball winder here, so I just wind as I go typically. Just in case I don't use them all, I don't want them all wound. So here we are. So let's go back in time and watch me wind these and knit a little bit with me. It is Saturday, and I just want to show my progress real quick on my test knit. So far, this is the back neck. The color, I love the color. And it's the evening. I just put Oliver to bed, and I will sit now down and knit on this. And why don't you join me in we'll see. I'll check in tomorrow how far I got tonight. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Hello, I meant to record every day to show my progress on my test knit for Alicia Plummer, but I'm not a fast knitter and I have children, so I don't know what I was thinking. I really didn't have a lot of progress, and then some nights there was no way I could record. But this is how far I've gotten. I think that's the front, yes. So I joined my second ball and I have a few more raglan increases left before I split for the sleeves. So let's see if I can get there relatively quick. It is Thursday evening. Probably can hear Cheyenne. She's FaceTiming with her friend. And I finished all my raglan increases on my test knit for Alicia Plummer. And it's time to try it on and see if we're ready to split for sleeves. So I'm gonna change. I'm wearing a dress and I don't want the bulk for my sleeve, so I'm gonna put on a tank top and then try this on. Well, slip this all onto you're gonna see me use, I've heard them be called barber cords. I just bought a spool off Amazon. They're a hollow tube nylon. Is it nylon? No, silicone. Oop, it's Lily coughing. Hollow tube hollow silicone tube. There we go. And you just pop it onto the needles and slide the stitches on, and I will try this on and see if I like the fit, since I'm a bad test knitter and did not do a gauge swatch. I've knitted a lot of Alicia's patterns and me and her have the same, not the same gauge, I don't know if that's a thing, very similar gauge. So I've always gotten gauge on her patterns, so I didn't feel like I needed to gauge swatch, even so I know I'm using different yarns, so that makes no sense because I'm not using the same yarn as she is. But let's just say I don't swatch. Anyway, let's try this on. And thanks to the love of editing, here we are in present time. I hope you enjoyed knitting with me and seeing my process. And now I'm gonna show you where I'm at the end of the week. And you're gonna think, but Courtney, you were further in the last clip. Yes, my friend, I was. I'm recording after work and apparently I'm in a goofy mood, so it's been a silly day at work and the mood is just carrying over. So here I am. Whoa, as I'm dropping it. Where is the front? Where is the thing? Anything? Oh, here we go. So you may wonder, didn't you have split the sleeves in the last video? Yeah. It helps if you read the whole pattern. This was at no fault to Alicia. Her pattern so far is great. I made a boo-boo. I had my check marks since I'm test knitting, I'm really trying to pay attention to the pattern as I'm not reading it. But the numbers, I typically will count here and there my stitches, but I typically won't be too meticulous about counting all my stitches. But since I'm testing, I do that part. So I was keeping track of the repeats is what I was trying to say. I was really keeping track of my repeats and everything like that. And I did that on my pattern underneath the increase pattern. That words, that's the other problem about recording after work. So I was keeping track. There was like a little gap and I put, how many repeats I had to do and then did my little chicken scratch of keeping track. And then I skipped, the next part was separate sleeves. So I did that part. And then when I looked at the pattern again, my eyes went above my little gap where I put all my marks, where it says, oh, let's edit that part. I just blurbed a little bit of the pattern that I was not comfortable sharing. It said knit X amount of rounds before splitting the sleeves. I didn't do that because I didn't see it where my notes were. So I had to undo my separating the sleeves. Separating the sleeves took a whole evening. I only have knitting time in the evenings really. So that evening I already felt like I didn't do any knitting because I tried it on. You saw that clip, me trying it on. It seemed like it fit great, so I was like, oh, I'm ready. But I think it's supposed to be a little oversized with the ease that I didn't think anything of it. But now it makes sense because it was fitted. So I had to undo my separating the sleeves, and that took me a whole nother evening. And then yesterday I finished knitting the X amount, so tonight I will be separating the sleeves once again. I love the feel of the yarn. I love the way it looks. So from the top to about here where it gets all speckly is one ball. So you can kind of see the one ball has the speckled, then the band of light gray, and then this medium gray, and then the speckled is the next ball. So it doesn't repeat. It's almost like an ombre, but not really. What else do I have to say? Oh, I did mention in one of the clips that I didn't do a gauge swatch, and I just want to also emphasize, I said that me and Alicia, I have knitted a lot of her patterns and we have similar gauge, and yes, it makes no sense because this yarn is not Noro. And I just shook my camera, I'm sorry. But also one of the reasons is if there is a big enough ease window, I don't mind being a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, because I typically pick my ease on the not medium, a little bit on the larger end, but I like things oversized. So if it's a little bit more, I don't mind. And if it's a little bit smaller, I don't mind. If it's something fitted, like negative ease or zero ease, definitely gauge swatch. That I find more important than if you know you're a looser or a tighter knitter, I definitely encourage to do gauge swatches. Say as I say, not as I do as I say, whatever the saying is. Do as I say as I do. That doesn't make sense. Oi, it's been a long day. But anyway, that's when I gauge swatch typically. Or if I use plant fibers, because I am not comfortable with plant fibers. But then for my lemon spritz, I had a needle confusion. The gauge I got, I ended up mixing up the needles and not even using the needles for my gauge swatch. That was a whole thing. But typically my gauge is pretty close to the designers, except Caitlin Hunter has a crazy gauge. So her pattern, no matter what, I gauge swatch, because I think I have to go up like 2 needles or 3 needles with hers. So that's the tip. If you kind of know the designer, if you know the yarn, and if there's a big ease window, I feel like you don't necessarily should gauge swatch or need to gauge swatch. You always should. So that's my take on gauge swatches. And now that was a very not confrontational. I also get no sleep still, so please forgive my lack of words. But I see the word. I can picture the word. I can't say the word. Gauge is a controversial subject. Like, people have really strong feelings about needles, gauge, acrylic yarn. Those are some hot topics. So anyway, I'm happy with how far I got in a week. I started this Friday, and yes, today is Monday, but I didn't knit at all yesterday. It was Saturday that I got to, I think yesterday I knitted 1 round. So it was really Saturday that I got back to splitting. So yes, in 1 week I got this far. If you like these type of videos where I'm not specifically talking about my works in progresses or my finishes, where I just pick a different subject, or like a more focused subject, like showing you my test knit for the week, or maybe something else I knitted for the week, or even patterns that I'm like dying to cast on, or I don't know, reviews of needles, or what's in my queue, I don't know. If you have a specific subject in mind that I should make a special video about, please let me know. And I'm hoping to get back to you guys next week with a regular video where I show my finishes, if I have any, and my works in progresses. All right, guys, bye.